Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. So today I have another haul for you guys, and this is completely impromptu. So I wasn't planning on filming a video today. I wasn't planning on filming another haul because we just did one a few weeks ago. But last weekend we had a really nice day on Sunday, and it had been super cold. We got a ton of snow, everything was coated in ice, and we finally had a nice day. So I said to my husband, I was like, why don't we just hop in the car, go do some thrifting and see what we can find, and then go to lunch and stuff like that, and just make a morning out of it, get a little vitamin D during our Canadian winter. And man, oh man, did I ever come home with treasures. So I didn't want to leave these until it was time for me to do my next haul because it just would have been too huge. So I was so excited about everything that I found, so I wanted to share it with you guys right away. So if you saw my last haul, I did mention that I picked up some Barbara Michaels books, and I hadn't heard of that author before. I'd never read any of her books, but they sounded so good. So she's more in the line of, like, you know, suspense sort of thriller books, and she had a lot of stuff come out in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I wanted to grab the rest of these and put them on the shelf with the other ones, and my collection now is fairly big, but these were in such good condition, and the covers on some of these are really interesting too. So first we have this one. So this is Wait for What Will Come, and some of her books have like really nice die cut covers as well, but I just really like the illustrations in general. So I'm not going to be going through a lot of the synopses of these books because it'll make the video too long and people just end up signing off early or skipping through. So this one is Black Rainbow. So I really like this one too. She has a lot of imagery of like mausoleums and graveyards and stuff like that. It gives me very much like Anne Rice kind of vibes. If any of you have read Barbara Michaels, let me know, like, does she have the same sort of vibe as Anne Rice? I know it's not vampire books, but just let me know, because she seems to love like mausoleums and graveyards and all of that kind of stuff. And then the next one, I really love the orange on the cover here. So this is Into the Darkness, and this is a die cut cover, so I don't know if the orange is really picking up very well on the camera, but so we have like a locket and kind of some pearls and stuff like that on the front, and then when we open it up, you know, you can see the little coffin there, the cutout. So this is what it looks like on the inside. And I mean, they just don't make books like they used to anymore, right? I wish I actually had a ring like that. So this says, a hidden legacy, a dark fortune. No one is safe from the secrets of the past. So sounds wonderfully gothic. So some of these sound really good. And here's another very gothic looking cover as well. So this is The Wizard's Daughter. It says, a thrilling ghost story, a spellbinding tale of love and intrigue. And we have a picture of a, you know, a castle or a manor house kind of on the front there. If I can get my camera to focus, there we go. And you can see the light on in the tower here. I mean, it's so good. These covers are amazing. They're wonderful. I really hope I like the stories as well, but even just the covers are amazing. So this one is Other Worlds, and it has a very purpley kind of cover. So we have a coach here on the front, a horse-drawn carriage with a gas lamp, and kind of a step back cover as well. So this is not die cut or anything, but we do have the secondary cover on the inside. And it says, Michael's rich storytelling will have her fans reading deep into the night. And this one is from, oh, this one's not too old actually. So this one is 1998. So that's that one. And then the last one that we have of the Barbara Michaels collection is Patriot's Dream, and we have another very gothic looking castle manor kind of thing with a gas lamp here, and these look so good. I know my friend Edie Lewis has he was actually really surprised that I had never read any Barbara Michaels before, but this looks so good. So I'll let you guys know now that there is going to be an announcement coming soon, like during November, about my gothic book club that I'm going to be starting. I did a poll here on YouTube and over on Instagram, and there were a couple of people interested, so maybe we can include some of these. I don't know if these fall into the Gothic realm, but it might have those same sort of atmospheric vibes that we're all looking for. So these look amazing, and I'm so excited to have them, and I'm always excited to discover new authors that I've never heard of before that of course existed in the vintage sort of sphere. I believe Barbara Michaels has actually passed away at this point. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up again, but these definitely have all of the feels that I'm looking for these days. And then next up, I was super excited to find this one. So this is a decently good copy of Boy's Life by Robert McCammon, and it says recapture the magic on the front. And this one has a great cover too. This has a step back cover, which I love. Let's see what year this is from. This is a second printing from 1992, and Robert McCammon is Kelsi's favorite author over at Slime and Slashers. Of course, I'm sure most of you guys know Kelsi by now, but I'll have her information linked down below. But this, I believe, is her favorite book, but I know McCammon is definitely her favorite author. And I just read my first McCammon book a couple of months ago. I think it was in September. I read Ball by him and loved it. It blew me away. So I couldn't wait to find a copy of this one. And like, I mean, it's not perfect, but it was well loved, and yeah, really super excited to have this. Let me know if you guys are a Robert McCammon fan as well, and what your favorite McCammon book is. And then next up we have a Dan Simmons, so another author that I haven't read before but I have heard of, and this specific book, this is Carry and Comfort, and I've heard of this book before, don't really know what it's about, but even just the cover alone had me picking it up. Isn't that fantastic? I love the cover on this, and it says dark, macabre, epic horror in the tradition of King's The Stand, and so that's fantastic. And it's, again, it's not in fantastic condition, but you know, it doesn't have a whole lot of spine creases. It's intact, so I went ahead and picked it up. So let me know if you know anything about this book. This one is a first printing from 1989, which is super, super cool. So my adult horror collection has been getting a little bit of a bump lately because, you know, if you've been around here a while, of course, I read a lot of YA and middle grade, especially when it comes to my vintage books. But my adult collection has been getting a little bit of a bump. So in 2024, I'm actually hoping to spend a little bit more time on reading some adult horror instead of just sticking with the, you know, just kind of spread my wings a little bit rather than just kind of sticking myself into a box of just YA and middle grade all the time, because I have been enjoying the adult horror that I've been reading this year. I've read a lot of horror classics and they've been fantastic, so definitely want to carry that through to next year. And then speaking of YA middle grade, I did find some. So here we have an Apple paperback. This is The Ghost That Came Alive by Vic Kroom. So here we have another wonderful gothic looking castle with this lone light up in one of the windows. So I think I definitely was in a specific mood when I was at the thrift shops the other day. And let me tell you, you know, most days you walk in and you might find one thing. And this was one of those situations where I was just pulling books down off of the shelves. It was absolutely wonderful. So this one, like I said, is an Apple paperback. This one is a children's or middle grade book, and it says on the back, please, please help me, please. So I think this is a sort of a middle grade gothic ghost story kind of thing. And I love Apple paperbacks from the 80s and 90s. And this one actually predates that. So this one is from 1975. And it's a little bit kind of bent up a little bit here, but it's still in fantastic condition considering how old it was, and or how old it is. And I got this one for $1.49, which is awesome. Can't go wrong with that. And next up we have some vampire books. So these are two of the bind ups in the Night World series by L.J. Smith. So I haven't read any of the Night World, but I've been craving vampires lately. So a couple of the series that I would like to get to are this one, so Night World, Vampire Academy, which I haven't read before, and the Morganville Vampires. So these two are actually book 1 and book 3, so these were in really, really good shape. I had this one, which I believe is book 1. Or bind up number 1. I had a copy of this one before, but I paid $1 for it. It came with like a group of books that I had bought, and it was in horrible condition. It was so bad I actually had to throw it out because I wouldn't want to resell it to anyone. It was just awful. So I was really glad to find another one. So I'm still looking for bind up number 2. But for as of right now, we have bind up number 1 and 3, and these were $3 each. So I mean, $1 a book, because these have 3 books each in them. So I thought that was pretty good. So let me know if you're a vampire fan. Have you read the Night World series? Amy McCaw, if you're watching, let me know. Am I gonna enjoy this? And then I got 2 in one of my cheesy Canadian series. So 2 out of the Screech Owls series. So this is basically, it revolves around this hockey team in Canada, and they have mysteries that happen that they solve or they're involved in with this hockey team. I actually haven't read one yet, but I keep finding these everywhere, and they were only a couple of bucks, so I went ahead and picked them up. So we have the Screech Owls Home Loss, and we have Nightmare in Nagano. So I believe this one probably coincides with the Nagano Olympics that happened a few years ago. So I was super happy to find these. Not happy about the price. They've gone up about $1 each at the thrift store, but I figure I'm already collecting them now, so I have to finish off the series. But eventually I will pick up one of these because they look super, super cute. And then for the last fiction book, before we move on to a whole bunch of ghosty books that I found, this book has a particular story behind it. So I found a hardcover copy finally in good condition for a reasonable price of The Dark Half by Stephen King. And so I found this one at the thrift store as well. They're like at our actual used bookstores, like this is fairly expensive. Like I've seen them upwards of $40 for a used copy, and I was like, there's no way I'm spending $40. So I have an interesting history with this story, because when I was a teenager and I was trying to expand my wings in the horror world, which is what I love, I tried reading I tried watching the movie first, and it scared the crap out of me so bad when I was a teenager. That scene with the birds, it scared me so bad, and by that time I was already freaked out with watching this movie. It threw me over the edge. I was so scared. I covered my ears, I closed my eyes, and tried to make it through, and I don't think I slept for 2 solid weeks. I slept with the light on. I had watched it at a sleepover with a friend of mine who had already seen the movie like 5 or 6 times, so she was completely unfazed. And I was staying in the spare bedroom at her house, and I ended up like going and crawling in bed with her that night because I was so freaked out. It scared the crap out of me. Even the name Thaddeus Beaumont right now just gives me chills. So I also tried to read the book, and I ended up DNFing the book. So for me, this is the scariest thing I've ever attempted to read / watch. I didn't attempt it again after I grew up. I think I tried to read it and watch the movie when I was about 14. And so I don't know if I'll ever attempt to read this book again. We'll have to see. I doubt it, but I wanted to have a copy for my shelf so that when I look at it, I actually shudder and remember that time when I was so scared. So this is one of those books that, you know, I wanted to have as part of my collection, my Stephen King hardcovers, because it scared me so badly, and it's such an ingrained thing in my head from when I was a kid and I was trying to, you know, get into more and more horror. So that's my story with Stephen King and The Dark Half. So glad I finally found a copy at a decent price, and it'll live on my shelves in infamy. And then the last stack of books that we have are a bunch of ghosty books, and these were in such good condition. Obviously, you know, and I found all of these together, like they were all together on the shelf, except for this one actually. Most of these were together on the shelf at the thrift store. And so obviously somebody brought them in like all at the same time and they got put up on the shelf, and they're in such good condition, and I'm so excited to put these on my ghost book shelf. So this one is the first one that I got. I actually bought this separately from the other ones. This one was for sale by a woman in my community, and she was selling it for $2, and I was so excited. So you guys know that I collect the Haunted Canada series, and this one is one of the bind-ups. So this is the third terrifying collection in the Haunted Canada series. So I've been finding Haunted Canada books all over the place, but it's just like the same ones over and over. So I was so excited to finally find one that I hadn't had, and at the time I actually didn't know that there was bind-ups available. So I was super happy to get this. So this is the third one, so obviously there's a first and second, and I'm not positive, I think there's a fourth one. I'll have to check, but I think there's at least 3 anyway. I did actually find the first terrifying collection that I didn't have as part of my shelf, but I've already gifted it to someone because I wanted them to have it. And one of my good friends in the US, who I wanted them to have a little bit of Canadian ghost history. So I'm putting this one on the shelf anyway. I'm hoping to continue to find more of these, but for now I was super thrilled with this one because it's in almost perfect condition. And then this one I've never seen before. So this is called Overshadows, an investigation into a terrifying modern Canadian haunting by Richard Palmisano. I think that's how you pronounce it. Had never seen this one before. And it's about a story that happened back in 1995. And again, it's super shiny. I mean, look at that. It's perfect. There's no creases, there's no dents, it's amazing. It's perfect. Nobody folded down any pages. I was so happy to find this. So this one will go right into my Canadian Ghost Stories collection. And then I found this one. So I don't have many books that are outside of Canadian Ghost Stories. So when I find them, it's fantastic. So this one is Hawaii's Best Spooky Tales, which I thought was amazing. So they have this clock tower here that's like glowing in green. Isn't that a fantastic cover? And it says True Local Spine Tinglers, collected by Rick Carroll. And yeah, so when I've got a couple on the shelf that are like American ghost stories, and I think there's one that I have from Britain. And but again, this is in perfect condition. Obviously somebody took very good care of their books. You gotta grab them when you see them, because I probably never would have seen them again. So some Hawaii ghost stories for the ghost story shelf. And then last but not least, you guys know that I love collecting books from the Ghost House series. My collection is getting fairly big now, and I found a whole stack of them that were lined up on the shelf just perfectly, and they're in amazing condition. And some of these I hadn't even heard of before. They're some of the later numbers, which for me, I typically see the earlier numbers. That's more of the Canadian hauntings. And so I was so super happy to find these. And there was actually 2 more that I found that I already had in my collection, but I did a swap out because my other ones were not in as good condition. So I actually ended up finding 7, but these are 5 new ones that I didn't have before. So this is the first one that I found in the Ghost House series. This is Scary Movies, Behind the Scenes Stories, Reviews, Biographies, Anecdotes, History, and Lists by A.S. Mott. And I mean, it has Ghostface on the cover. How perfect! I mean, you guys know that Ghostface is my favorite villain. So I was super stoked for this. I can't wait to sit down and read this with a cup of coffee. It's gonna be so good. And like I said, it's like in perfect condition. Like, look at that. Isn't that amazing? So that was the first one, and I didn't even know they had that as part of the Ghost House series. So this is book number 58. And this is number 50, Premonitions and Psychic Warnings, Real Stories of Haunting Predictions. I just love the covers on these books. Isn't that fantastic? So that's that one. again in perfect condition. And then we have this one, number 46. Sorry, I'm kind of going in reverse order on these. This is Ghost Stories of London by Edric Thay. So this is another one. I believe I've got one more British book on the shelf, so this one will go with that one. And then we have number 72, Ghost Stories of Montana, which is the state that's directly below us here. And then the last one that I found that wasn't already part of my collection, this is number 55, Famous People of the Paranormal, Psychics, Clairvoyants, and Charlatans. So I'm so excited to have these for my collection. Somebody really took good care of these. I mean, they're almost brand new from the looks of them. And yeah, so I'm gonna continue looking for more in the Ghost House series. Usually when I go out, I might find one in mediocre condition. So to find 7 in almost brand new condition is fantastic, and I couldn't be happier. So I was so excited. We had a really good day thrifting, and we went out for burgers and onion rings after. It was fantastic. It was a great day, and we had really nice weather. So I wanted to share this impromptu haul with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a question or comment down below, because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky everybody. Bye.